Hi, Michael Yardney here, and in our regular Rich Habit, Poor Habits videos, I'm having a chat with Tom Corley, and today we're going to talk about the 10 common habits of high achievers. Welcome, Tom.
Hey, Michael, it's good to see you. How you doing, my friend?
Very well, thank you. Now, Tom, you've done a lot of study on success, on wealth, on why some people do better than others, and in your depth of study, I know you found that there are some common traits of successful people. Now, there's nothing new about that. Every study seems to show that if you model successful people, if you do what they do, think how they think, you can become successful as well. And that's why I'd like you to outline for us whether they're professional athletes, entrepreneurs, business people, investors. What have you found to be the commonalities?
Yeah, I found that there were certain traits that these high achievers all seem to have, their behaviors really. One of them is consistency. Michael, they have specific habits, specific routines that they repeat over and over again, and they go at it every single day, no matter what. Doesn't matter if they're sick, doesn't matter if they're depressed, if they're something's gone wrong with their day, they go at it and they relentlessly. So it's consistency is a big important one. The other one I found is focus. So single-minded focus. Now we're in the world of multitasking, right? Everybody multitasks. They think it's the thing to do, but all the research that I've found is that multitasking actually impairs your thinking, and it creates more problems than you think you're solving. And so these high achievers, they focus on one single thing and then they move on to the next thing. And so they have these goals, these dreams that they're pursuing every single day that they focus on.
Now, Tom, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I recently saw an interview with Warren Buffett and a while ago with Bill Gates when they were asked, what's the number one trait of successful people? And interestingly, they both had focus number one on their list. And that means that you don't get distracted. And you're right, today with the instant news and Facebook and Twitter, we are inundated with potential options, and the real trouble is blocking out distractions. So focus is important, but you've got to focus on the right things. And I believe you found that high achievers have got a vision, they've got a blueprint, they've got goals.
Yeah, this is something I like to call it dream setting, but this dream setting is really scripting out a vision of what you want your life to be. So if you have a blueprint, at least you have a template for the things, the dreams, the wishes, the goals that you're going to pursue. Without a blueprint, without a vision, and I'm not talking about vision boards here, Michael, because I'm not a big fan of vision boards. I know a lot of people are. I like to see the blueprint written down and then bullet point your dreams, and then you have a list of all the dreams and you build goals around those dreams. But that's one of the things the high achievers do. They create a vision through a scripting process. And then they pursue each individual dream.
Well, Tom, there's science behind that. So the concept of a vision board is having things up like your ideal house, your ideal car, your vacation. And that sort of falls back to that old story of what you think about the most you become. But that's not really true, Tom, because you actually have to take action. Just thinking about it, just dreaming about it isn't enough. So I agree with you that if you have a goal and then you set a plan to achieve that goal, then you're going to get there. If you don't have a goal, any road will get you there. But if you've got your ladder up against the wrong wall, every step you take will take you further away. But there's psychology, or there's actually science behind it, isn't there, Tom, because of your reticular activating system?
Yeah, so that's a great point. So here's the thing. So this is why vision boards are okay, but creating a blueprint which bullet points all your dreams and then allows you to build goals around each individual dream is so important, because once you have that dream in your mind and you have the goals set out in order to realize that individual dream, you turn on your reticular activating system. And the way it works is like, imagine you're in an airport and you hear nothing but noise, and you don't really hear what anybody is saying, but then somebody says, "Hey, Michael," and you immediately turn around. Despite all of the buzz and all of the noise, that's your reticulator activating system alerting you to something that's important in your environment. That's what goals do, and that's what dreams do. The goals alert you to things in your environment that your senses pick up that say, hey, Michael, you should pay attention to this because this will help you with your goal.
Of course, high achievers have to be persistent because things are going to get in the way. Adversity is going to come. Obstacles are going to turn up. So persistence is one of the things I know you talk about because luck and success favors those who never quit.
That's right. You know, the persistent get lucky eventually. They might have to go at it for 10 years, but because they never quit, eventually they are the recipients of what I call opportunity luck, which is the opportunity for good luck to occur just simply by being persistent and never giving up. And when you're persistent, you're going to run into obstacles anyway. But when you're persistent, you're going to constantly pursue or pivot around or experiment and figure out ways to get around those obstacles. And when you do that experimentation, thanks to persistence, you find, I guess, routines or processes that work. And so that's, part of the process too. That's another point that we'll cover.
Well, some people would say successful people, high achievers, are fanatical. They're obsessed. They think about what they're planning to do all day. Is that true?
It is true, and it's not just Tom Corley saying it or all these millionaires saying it. I read a book a while ago by Ed Koch, How Am I Doing? He was the mayor of New York City. And one of the things that I never forgot that I picked up, a little factoid that I picked up in his book is he said, I made a point of hiring fanatics, he said, because fanatics have a way of getting things done. They're obsessed with whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish, and they're thinking about it 24/7. They're even dreaming about it, Michael.
Now, Tom, I also read that you think that successful people are process-oriented. What do you mean by that?
The processes are the key to one of the keys to success and realizing your dream and accomplishing your goals. So if you can imagine, the pursuit of any dream is going to, you're going to run into obstacles, pitfalls, you're going to make mistakes, but you're going to, through the process of experimentation, you're going to find things that work. So then you put that down as a process. You sort of cookie cutter it. Now you're following processes. And these processes are foolproof because they're things that through experimentation you found that work, and that's where the value is in pursuing a dream. Is you ultimately discover, it's a discovery process of these processes that work, and they become part of your toolkit.
That means you don't have to reinvent things over and over again because you've got systems in place. But one of the underlying themes of much of what you've said, Tom, is that high achievers are actually action takers. You don't get paid in this world because of what you know. You get paid because of what you do because of what you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. So it's great to have all these thoughts and these vision boards and these scripts, but you have to take action. And I found in my research that these self-made millionaires, they were constantly in motion. They had multiple streams of income. They were doing, like now I have like 4 streams of income. I had 1 stream of income before the rich habits. Now I have 4. These self-made millionaires, they are constantly in motion. They have all these multiple streams of income. They're doing a whole bunch of things to help move them forward. It's like a juggling act, but they are action oriented, Michael.
Interestingly, they also have learned to overcome fear because the average person is scared of making mistakes, scared of the consequences, scared of taking risks. But I've found successful people, especially at the beginning of their careers, they're prepared to take risks. They take calculated risks, Tom.
Yeah, the fear is still there. Don't misunderstand what I'm trying to say here about taking calculated risks. The fear is constantly with you. However, they mitigate that fear, these self-made millionaires, by doing their homework. They kind of try and understand everything there is to know about whatever risk they're about to take, and then they go in with their eyes wide open. They know the potential pitfalls, and this is really important. When those pitfalls do come, they're not intimidated by them because they expected them to occur. so that they just had a plan of action in place in the event that something went wrong. But the calculated risk is all about doing your homework.
So clearly, once they do have what some people would call a failure, they just see it as part of the process because that was part of what they'd anticipated, and they become a successes at failure till they become successes at success. But Tom, you've also written that successful people have deliberate practices. What do you mean by that?
Well, there's, you know, you ever see tennis players and they'll hit 100 forehands, they'll hit 100 backhands. Most of the time they're unconscious. That's unconscious practice. But what the really great ones do, the John McEnroes, the Federers, is they'll hit a forehand 100 times, but they'll hit it a different way during that 100 times. So they'll hit, one will be a topspin, one will be a slice, one will be a short one will be a long one. So they're consciously practicing and studying every single move. Golfers do the same thing. Well, we can do that. We can take a page out of their book and apply that to whatever our careers are, whatever our vocation is. We can deliberately practice certain things and consciously look at how we're doing it to make sure that we're doing it in the most efficient and effective way. That's deliberate practice.
Tom, another thing that comes up in all the studies I've read, yours and others, is that successful people, high achievers, continuously educate themselves, continuously learn, never stop. I know you do, I know I do. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so this is part, along with the deliberate practice, this is part of the formula, the stew, that transforms an ordinary individual into what I call a virtuoso, somebody who's an expert, great at what they do. You want to not only practice deliberately, but you also want to gain knowledge and study whatever it is in your career, your profession, your vocation. You want to know everything there is to know about it. You just don't want there to be any missing piece of information, because that's critical to your success, knowing everything about whatever it is that you do. Because if you don't know everything about what you're doing, you can make a mistake. So the high achievers in my study, they really devoted at least 30 minutes to an hour of study every single day, particularly in their career or their vocation.
Well, clearly in this fast-moving world, you have to just to keep up, but you want to do more than keep up. You want to become an expert in your field. Well, Tom, there were 10 really great tips there. I guess what it really means is there are a lot of moving parts, many variables, many ingredients to being a high achiever, to being successful. And clearly it's just not one thing, is it, Tom? It's a combination of many things.
No, it's like, it is very much a stew. And if you don't have any of the, you miss an ingredient, it just doesn't taste right. Well, if you miss an ingredient in the pursuit of success, it's just not going to be as successful as you were hoping it would be.
Great. So thank you very much. I look forward to having a chat with you again next week when we'll discuss some more of the success habits of the rich people and some of the habits we should avoid with the poor people.
Looking forward to it, Michael.
My pleasure, Tom.